Basically, I work for Huber Engineered Woods. Once again, my name is Joe Burgess, and the zip wall that you see, the big green houses that stick out in the neighborhood, we think is a pretty pleasant sight compared to a lot of times when you pull up on a house and you see 3 different kinds of house wrap flapping in the wind. It's kind of a real question on the quality of what this builder is really doing on the home. Is this really something that's working out there? So the zip wall, we're focusing on 3 things. It's the moisture resistance, keeping moisture out of your house. Number 2 is putting a product out there that's easy to install. Something that's pretty intuitive, not rocket science to get up there. And then 3rd, we talked about the air barrier performance. So I'll just hit the highlights of those 3 things. And if you have any questions along the way, please just throw your hand up at me, yell at me, scream at me. The first one is moisture management. Obviously, you don't want moisture in the air cavities or the wall cavities there because you can have things like mold and mildew. That's bad. So what we try to do is move that moisture barrier as close to the elements as possible by simply taking what typically you see on a house is a house wrap over top of OSB. We basically take that moisture resistant part of it and affix it to the OSB. So you don't have to worry about if you get a cut or a tear, any type of the water or air migrating in between the 2 because it's actually an inherent part of the panel. So once you do that, all you have left to seal up the exterior of the home is the seams, this part. And what we do is we make a tape that's designed as part of the system that you just simply put on and you're done. It's that simple. No special fasteners, nothing exotic you're having to do to get that moisture barrier and or an intuitive installation. So actually Keith, when he installs these houses, if you go up to a house wrap, it can mask a lot of issues. It's very difficult to look and see, is this performing properly? This is a product you can actually walk, and if it's nailed up properly and the seams are taped, it's working properly. So that covers the moisture part of it and then the installation part of it. The 3rd part Michael talked about there a little bit was the air barrier. Actually, if you just install it just simply like I told you, nothing special, no additional details, we're going to give you a classified type 1 continuous air barrier. He talked about the benefits of not letting air into your home. We're just basically making it very simple and easy to do. With house wrap, there's a lot of additional details, a lot of holes that you're poking in the wall. These panels are actually designed to be self-sealing. So once again, it's a very easy air barrier to put up there. So if you do those simple things I ask you to do, buy the same panel that you've been doing, nail it up with the same nails and tape the seams, we're going to give you a 15-year system warranty. That's going to include the tape and the panel, and that's going to be for the moisture properties and the air resistant properties of the panel. So, and on top of that, we're going to give you a 30-year panel warranty. So basically what we're saying is he's describing a energy efficient home. We're saying that our air barrier portion of that, we're going to guarantee for 15 years. That's about 50% better than any other house wrap system out there. So moisture, ease of installation, and then air barrier performance are what we're providing in Terramor homes. That's it for me, Keith. Any questions?
Thank you, Joe.
Just out of curiosity.
Sure.
And I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Put me on the spot.
You can pull me out here and punch me. But I want to point this out for them so they understand how much more Terramor is spending on this product versus just doing the, if you will, cheap way of felt paper. So on average, what is the percentage of how much?
Well, I mean, part of our value proposition is the material does cost more. I mean, it's going to be, and it should. It's just going to, the warranty and all that is involved. And also, what you do actually have is because of the ease of installation, you actually get some efficiencies on the labor side. There's a lot of the indirect value benefits that you don't see. A lot of the problems you have with moisture and or air are the devil's in the details. It's the flashing details, it's the window installation details. So though they're paying a percentage, more for the materials, they're getting all those indirect benefits. And the dollar's going to vary from house to house on there. But it is a investment that they're making to give the homeowner a better home.
As well, but my point being is that if someone is combating that it's higher than going down the road, is where I'm going with this. Most likely, the going down the road is going to be at what you're going to see an inferior product versus the superior product of that.
Right.
So my point is it's worth paying for it, and what the return is going to be long term.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, what you got to realize is they pointed out there's builders that can go down a couple different roads. You can build homes, and a lot of the things that get covered up after the process, these folks are doing. If you visited this home, after it was already completed, you wouldn't know it had this product on there unless you folks share it with them. So the value of what you're doing has to be shared. I mean, it has to be shared because they're doing the things that you don't see. Well, a lot of folks are giving you the granite and a lot of the things that you know are great, but they're not going to affect air quality and energy savings and those things.
So there's a warranty that comes with the home with this wrap.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So
yes, ma'am.
we can point out that 15-year warranty. Okay. All right.
Christy, to help you answer your question, I think, you know, kind of where we're going with this is by doing this, there might be other cost savings that we can save, but at the end of the day, for us to build to this standard overall, you're probably looking at 2 to 3% more per home.
Yeah.
Is what we spend, what it costs Terramor to build to this standard versus what the other builders. It may not specifically be Zip, but there might be some cost savings and the offset, but at the end of the day, we do spend more to build them.
But I think it's important to know because of everything you are getting along with that extra 2 or 3%, and this buyer is such a critical buyer in price point preference that they may be silly enough to say, I'd rather buy the cheaper house than get the long-term benefits of the might be a little bit more expensive home.